Hello friends, welcome to this YouTube video program. We are discussing about the use of various methods that we use for conducting educational research. We have already discussed about the philosophical method, historical method, and in our earlier program we have discussed about the use of experimental method for conducting educational research. We have touched 2 points, that is the concept of an experimental research, and also we have discussed the characteristics of experimental research. Today in this program we will discuss about various experimental design that we use for conducting experimental research. So friends, the selection of a particular design depends upon the nature and purpose of the experiment, types of variable to be manipulated, means the independent variable that as a researcher you want to manipulate, the nature of the data, then situations or conditions for carrying out the experiment, and also the competence of the experimenter. You see, many a time, as per the nature of your study, you may take a decision, means taking only one group, taking only the experimental group, you can conduct your study. And many a time you have to take two groups. One is the control group and other is the experimental group. So, the selection of a specific experimental design is highly based upon the nature of the study, the nature of the problem, and the objective of your study. Okay. So, what type of effect you want to establish, you want to know in your study. And at the same time, it also depends upon the expertise of the experimenter, okay, means who is conducting the research, that what type of experiment he or she wants to implement in his or her study. So friends, when we talk about different experimental design that we use in education, mostly I will take the name of few design. You can also go beyond that by using different reference books and literature. You can also get many experimental design. But what we use in education for conducting educational research, we use a pre-experimental design, we use true experimental design, then quasi-experimental design, we also use time series design, and we also use factorial design. So these are the 5 types of design that we use for conducting research in experimental studies: pre-experimental, true experimental, quasi-experimental, time series, and factorial design. Today in this program, we will focus on pre-experimental design, that how we will conduct our study by using this specific design which come under the pre-experimental design. So friends, you see, pre-experimental design is considered as a very lower level of experimental design. You can say that for conducting experimental research, control of extraneous and situation variables are very much important. But when we conduct our study taking the pre-experimental design, taking a design from the pre-experimental approach, you will find that it's very difficult to control the extraneous and the situation variables. So that's why this is called as one of the lowest level of experimental design. Still then, in education, many a time we use this design for conducting our study. So there are 2 types of pre-experimental design that we follow. One is called as the one group pre-test post-test design, and the second design is, that is, the 2 group static design. So I repeat, we use 2 types of design that's come under the pre-experimental design, that is one group pre-test post-test design, and the second is 2 groups static design. So let us now discuss what is the concept and how we conduct these 2 design. First we will discuss about the one group pre-test post-test design. Let us try to understand. You see in one group pre-test, post-test design. So here when you read the name of the design, this has mentioned that one group means there will be only one group. Here there is no question of two groups. Then again pre-test, post-test design. So you might be remembering that I have discussed some of the key terms, some of the key concepts that we use for conducting experimental research, like independent variable, like dependent variable, like pre-test, post-test, okay, control, subject, researcher. So there I have discussed about the pre-test and post-test. Okay, so pre-test means you can say before implementing or before giving any new treatment, before implementing any new method, okay, or before doing the experiment, for knowing the level of the subjects, okay, to knowing the entry level of the subjects, or making when we are forming the group, okay, when we are forming the you can say two equal groups. So what do? We take a type of pre-test. So pre-test is conducted before the experiment, and after implementing the new method, or after giving the new treatment, after doing the experiment, then for knowing the effect what you are doing, you are taking the post-test. So that's why this is the concept of pre-test and post-test. So in this design, group will be one, we have to use only one group, and what we will be doing, we have to take two tests. One will be the pre-test, then experiment, then post-test. So let us try to specifically discuss that what are the conditions for using this design, one group pre-test, post-test design, and what is the use of those conditions. First of all, as I have mentioned, that group will be one, and that group will be a type of experimental group, that is not the control group, okay, because we have to provide a treatment, or to whom we will provide a treatment. So that will be an experimental group, that will not be a control group. So there will be only one experimental group, there will be no any control group. Then how to form the group. So what will be the condition for group formation? So we can say that for forming the group, we have to take subjects from the same standard or same age group without a proper randomization. You see, when we conduct experimental study, when forming the groups, we supposed to do a type of randomization to get the equivalent group, to get the equal group. Okay. So here what we will be doing in this design, there is no scope of making any type of randomization. Rather, what we will be doing, let we are conducting our experiment, our study upon the 8th grade students or the 9th grade students. So what we will be doing, you have to take the students from the 8th standard, or you have to take the students from the 9th standard, okay, and their age equivalent, those are studying in 8th and 9th standards, and you will find that their age group will be 13 plus or 14 plus, okay. So only these two criteria will be maintained. They are studying in a particular standard, and they are coming under a particular age group. But here we are not forming the group by doing any type of randomization, any type of random method. Then the independent variable, dependent variable will be there. I have already discussed in the concept and characteristics. So independent variable, that you can say that you have to implement upon the experimental group. So here there will be one group, only experimental group. So what we will be doing, let we have taken a theme, an experiment, for conducting an experiment in your study to know the effect of MOOCs. Okay, effect of MOOCs, massive open online courses. So what you will do, you have to select a group from a particular standard, then you have to decide the subject, okay, the content area. Let you have selected the content area from 8th standard, that is the algebra, or you can take let from any content, any science chapter from class 9th, okay. So you have to develop a MOOCs course first, or what you can do, the available MOOC, massive open online courses, you have to select. Means here in MOOCs you have to give certain materials, maybe in a PDF form, okay, maybe in word processing material, Then you can give certain PowerPoint also, you have to give certain video program. Then at the same time there will and certain quizzes will be given, certain questions will be given to know their progress. Okay, so the students will do their own, and as a teacher you have to direct them. Okay, you have developed a MOOCs and you have to teach the students by using the MOOCs. And definitely under the 4 quadrants of MOOCs, one is the video program, then other is the quizzes, then quizzes or other types of questions also, and third is the materials, either you are giving in a PDF form or in PowerPoint. Okay, that materials you will give. And at the same time there will be a discussion forum also, means you have to establish certain interaction with them. Okay, they might have many queries, so what we will be doing, we will be interacting with them. Okay, so these are the 4 quadrants. So keeping in consideration of these 4 quadrants, you have prepared a MOOCs. Okay, let that MOOCs is a 4 weeks MOOCs, means 1 month. So the students what they will do for studying a particular chapter, particular content, so they will go through the MOOCs, they will watch the video, they will attend the questions that has been given in the online course. Okay, and they will go through the materials that you have supplied to them through the MOOCs, and also you have to establish a type of interaction. So this is the independent variable you want to the effect of this MOOCs. So what you will do, first before implementing the MOOC course, you have to take a type of pre-test. Okay, so you see the pre-test will be based upon their standard, or specifically it will be from their content area. Let you are doing it for 8th standard students. So what you will be doing, you have to take certain questions and you have to prepare a type of test, achievement test from their level, or from the content that we cover in MOOC course. So you have to find a set of scores by taking a pre-test. So that score you will keep it with you. Then you have developed a 4 weeks MOOCs program. So what you will do, you have to implement, you have to teach to that group of students by using the MOOCs. Then after completion of your 4 weeks program, so what you will do, again you have to prepare a test, but here in one group, pre-test, post-test design, what you will be doing, the test that you have earlier prepared from that content, you have to administer the same test upon them. Okay, so here there is no question of using another test. And you can also use a parallel test, but you will find that the questions will more or less the nature of the questions, the items will like the pre-test. Okay, so you implement the MOOCs, then after you take the post-test. Then now after taking the post-test, you are getting 2 sets of scores of pre-test and scores of post-test. So what you will be doing, you have to compare these 2 sets of scores, pre-test result and post-test results. If you will find that the post-test result is comparatively better than the pre-test result, you have to use your statistics. You can use a t-test here to know the significance difference between 2 means. Means the mean score of pre-test result and the mean score of post-test results. And if you are getting a significant difference between the 2 means, if the post-test result is better, significantly better than the pre-test, then you can say that there is the effect of MOOCs upon the achievement of the students. So here dependent variable is the achievement score of the students. So friends, by doing such type of design, we can also conduct a study. But here the threat is, here there is no control upon the group, because we are not doing any type of randomization. Okay, and you see the same test will be administer twice, means the pre-test will the items in the pre-test will also be same as the items of the post-test. So here a type of carryover effect, memory effect, it works. Means definitely the subjects, what they will do, definitely they will do better in the post-test, because already they have attended the same test in the precondition, in the pre-test. Okay, and even if you are developing a parallel test for post-test, but that parallel test is also more or less similarity with the pre-test. So this is the major threat. Okay, so that's why keeping in consideration of this theft and weakness of this design, many a time it is difficult to study the effect. So that's why it is called as this method is the lowest order of you can say the experimental design. And if we are not using any other design and simply we are just going to know the effect, means without going through the rigorous observation or treatment of experimental research, then you can take this design. But suggestion is this method should be the last one to use for knowing the effect of any experimental study. So friends, now let us discuss the second design that we use in pre-experimental design, that is the two group static design. Okay, two groups static design. So here the condition will be, so what we will be doing, as this is mentioned in the design, two group static design. Two groups means you have to form two groups. One will be the control group and other will be the experimental group. Then how to form the groups? So here also you are not going to do any type of randomization for forming the group. Okay, simply how you will do, just like in the earlier cases, by keeping the similar age group and same standard, you can select the students. Let you are doing from 8th standard students or 9th standard students, what you will do, you have to select a few students, okay, from 8th or 9th standard students for doing your research, for doing the experiment. So here also you are not going to do any type of randomization. Okay, so here you have to use two independent variable, as you have already formed two groups. First independent variable will be let, as we have discussed earlier, that you want to know the effect of the MOOCs. So that's why teaching through MOOCs will be the first independent variable, and this treatment will be given to the experimental group. And to second independent variable, that is means we have to teach the same content, same chapter, either maybe in class 8th or class 9th, but that will be taught by using the conventional method, using the traditional method that usually we use in our daily day-to-day classroom situation, maybe by using the lecture method, maybe by using the narration cum discussion method, okay, or problem solving method, or inductive and deductive method for mathematics. So traditional method, the treatment of traditional method will be given to the control group, and the treatment of new method, or that we are saying that the MOOCs, effect of massive open online courses, will given to the experimental group. Then what you will do here, you are not going to take any type of pre-test. Okay, so here there is no concept of pre-test, only you have to take the post-test. So the dependent variable will be the achievement of the students, the performance of the students, or performance of the subjects from two different groups, control group and experimental group. So what you will do, you have to prepare the MOOCs, and the same topic you will teach. Let you are preparing for 4 weeks. The same time means 4 weeks you have to teach to the students by using the MOOCs, and the exactly same 4 weeks you have to teach to the students by using the conventional method to the control group. Okay, so after completion of 4 weeks teaching to both the groups, control group and experimental group, you have to take a test. So that is called as the post test. Okay, so what you will get, you will get two sets of score, means post test score of experimental group and post test score of control group. So after getting two sets of score, you can find out the mean score of both the groups. Okay, mean score of control group and mean score of experimental group. Then further you have to compare the test score of both the groups, experimental group and control group. And if you find that if there is significant difference, you can use the t-test for knowing the significant difference between the mean score of both the groups. If you are getting a significant difference, means the mean score of MOOCs or the experimental group is comparatively more than the mean score of the control group, then you can say there is a positive effect of MOOC scores upon the achievement of the students. So in this way you can also conduct this experiment. But here the threat is you are not going to do any type of randomization, okay, and bias selection may affect the post test scores also. So when you are selecting, only you are considering two things: the age of the students or age of the subjects, at the same time the standard, okay, and any type of matching, any type of randomization you are not doing. So that's why this is the major threat. And definitely you can say that this is a better method, because you are comparing with the two groups. One is the experimental group and other is the control group. But in the earlier case, you are just experimenting upon one group, only the experimental group. So there you are not going to compare the result of the control group with the experimental group. But here you are going one step ahead. You are just comparing the result of the control group and the experimental group. So friends, we discuss two type of experimental design, okay, that's come under the pre-experimental design. First is your one group pre-test post-test design, and next we discuss about the two group static design. By using these two design, we can conduct our study. But as a researcher, first of all you have to see that whether two group static design or one group pre-test post-test design is applicable for your study. So this should be as per the nature of your study. So friends, in our next session we will discuss about the true experimental design. What are the specific experimental design that can be used in a true experimental design. Thank you.